Okay, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to take a second shot at making shaker doors. So we made them for our built-ins that were in there, and I wasn't super excited about them. It was my first shot at making them, and the reason I wasn't super excited is because I used pine wood for the exterior framing of it. And pine it expands too much, and so you can see a little bit of where it kind of bulges and stuff like that where I don't like it. So I'm using poplar. So it's a little bit more expensive. It's about $140, $150 linear foot. So I'm using it, it's a little more expensive. But I don't have a specialty router or anything, so what I'm using is my table saw. So I'm cutting a trench with my table saw. And so what that does is it gives me enough of a trench where I can actually fit, let me show you quick, a smaller piece. I can actually fit a piece of sanded, like that. So you could fit a piece of sanded plywood on it. So you can see that it fits the dust off it there. You can see it fits in like that. So we're going to build a full door of it. And so this is actually what the door is going to look like here. So we have our piece, and I cut a trench through here. So now that'll go onto there, and we'll glue that all real tight. And then of course then we'll have our bottom pieces as well, and we'll glue those tight. So that's really, here's a piece of bottom piece that my helpful assistant handed me. And so then we'll do that, and then we're going to glue that really tight, and that should make what we hope is a really nice shaker door. So if I had more tools and a router, I'd probably do it a little bit differently, but I don't have those things. So I'm going to give it a shot at just doing what I can on a table saw. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to squeeze a little bit of wood glue in there. Okay, we're going to do our best at assembly at this point. So I squeezed in a little bit of glue. Then I'm going to slam this bad boy right in there. Slam it in there. This is going to be the face of our cabinet tray. And then I'm going to squeeze in a little bit of glue here. So yeah, this is a backing board. This piece right here is a backing board. It's just a sanded piece of backing board. It's like $11. You can get it in a 4x4 sheet, or you can get it in a 4x8 sheet. But it's really thin. I think it's like 1/4 inch backing board. So that's all it is. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just I'm going to basically put dowel all the way through the bottom, so it gives it some more rigidity to the door itself. So let me show you. Okay, so what I did is I basically trench cut both my bottom and top pieces. The reason I did that is because I want to give it some more strength here. So if you put this bottom piece on, what I'm going to do once I push this all together is I'm going to run the dowel all the way through there. So it'll connect in a little bit into the side pieces, and it'll give it some more strength to the door. So that's what I did. So I'm going to put that there, to there, and so here's where we're at with the door. So I just did the dowel at the top, so you can see there's a dowel in there. And this is where the darker pink is, that's where the dowel is. So you can see that. So then what I did was I went and got this. This is kind of nice. It's color changing wood filler. So whenever you need something that's kind of done better than caulking sinks in and that sort of thing, which is good if you're doing cracks when you're doing something that you want to fill in. And really what this stuff is pretty kind of slick. Let me just show you quick. So if you see any imperfections in your wood, before you're actually going to sand everything down, you know, it just allows you to, and I always overfill a little bit because I'd rather sand it down to perfection. But you can see, just fill it in a little bit. And then what happens with this, which is really kind of nice, you can see it's this crazy pink color right now. This crazy pink color then all of a sudden turns like this color, where you see it's starting to tan and look like the wood color. So you know when it's almost dry and ready to sand is when it gets tan. I always leave it a little bit longer because I want to make sure that it sets really well. But so this is like goes from pink to natural, like a natural wood color, to dry. So really these are really wood glued together. So I used a good wood glue form. So I got and I trenched out the top where you can see where the darker pink is. And I have another photo that you'll see in here. I trenched it out, and then I glued this dowel in here so that it's really nice and tight, and then I use clamps to kind of hold it together. So then what I did is you can see that the dowel really runs from here. So it goes into this piece, the vertical piece. The dowel goes all the way across, and I glued that in nice and tight. So the dowel fits and kind of holds everything together so the doors squared off really, really nice. I did that for the both doors and I squared them. Then I went back through and I made sure I wanted to make sure that these were nice and the doors looked all really nice and smooth, and the seams look good. So I went and I caulked in this middle section so it's nice in there. And then the last thing I'll do really is go through once I get all this wood filler done. I'll just show you on this spot that's pretty dried out here, is I'll just give it a light sanding, and that will take care of my seams. And I'll probably, if I have to, I'll refill it again, give it a nice light sand. But at the end, I'll give it a nice sanding all over the doors to give it a nice smooth. And then I always give a light sand. This is just a 220 grit sandpaper. That's all this is. So it's really a fine grit. And then I always just kind of sand the edges just lightly, just to take the edge off of them, you know, because they are doors, right? So I'll just go through and just give it a couple of swoops across the and it also does a nice job of just kind of evening out your doors. So I'll do that. Everything will get sanded down really well, and then you have a door. So then I'll show you what I'm doing is I got these European hinges, which these things are fantastic. So I have these, I bought a bunch of them in a box, so I had some extras. And these will just be, I'll mount these here, so they'll be in like that. And then this piece is what goes on your door inside, and I'll show you how that works. You just put one screw in there, and then there's soft close hinges. So as you can see, like this thing, whatever, there's soft close. So putting those in here, just like that. I'll show you me drilling those out too. I'll do it on a test thing so you guys can take a look at it. And then that's really it. Then I'll put these hinges onto the door, I'll mount them onto the thing, and then all these little screws in here, these two screws allow you to do all kinds of crazy adjustments. So by, you can bring it in and out a little bit and that sort of thing. These are 1/2 inch, you can see. They're 1/2 inches. But it allows me to basically make a bunch of adjustments to the door. So top and bottom, if they're a little bit off, you can make them look more vertical. So you can bring them in a little bit closer, out a little bit, depending on how you want them. So that's what makes these things fantastic. If you're gonna get hinges, don't get standard hinges. These are well worth the money. They're European hinge, and they're fully adjustable European hinge with soft close. Okay, so we're gonna cut the hinges in. So this is dangerous, because once you do it, you're kind of screwed. But anyways, I bought this drill attachment. So you can see really what it does is it cuts down enough that the center of that will sit deep. So you can see it's gonna cut pretty deep into that. So you gotta be away from the edge a little bit. So what I did, here, let me just show you. What I did is, I measured 4 inches up and 4 inches up. That should be plenty for like giving some space to get into the cabinet and make sure I can put the drill spots in and that sort of thing for putting the cabinet, drilling into the side to put the hinge on, right? So that should be plenty. And then what I did was I marked 4 inches up, and then I wanted to see and make sure that I put a little prick into the thing, and I took my circle. And I know this isn't going to be perfect, but I wanted to make sure I had enough depth here. So you see the first one was too close. This was too close. So the second one is where this is going to drill straight down. So I put a little hole, and that's going to drill straight down. That should give me, in theory, enough distance where that's going to sit there, and then my hinge will have enough that I can adjust it, but it won't cut through this edge. So that's really what I'm doing. So this, take your time, measure, make sure you get it right. I'm doing it before I paint the doors up because frankly, it does make a little bit of a mess. So I'm doing it before I do that, and then that should get my doors ready. And in theory, by the end of the day, what I'll have left is painting. So let me just show you where we're at. So this will sit in there. And I'll obviously take these screws out. Now I know that this isn't deep enough yet. I know that. So I'm gonna go deeper, but I stop a little bit, measure, put the thing in there, and you can see now I have a good distance here, right? So when I put this in, I have enough of a distance where I could still connect it, but I don't have too much of a distance where it makes this piece weak. That's the goal. primed the doors, front and back, right? I patched up any stuff I didn't like. And then basically, I did one coat on the inside just to make it a little bit easier for myself. But then I'm gonna hang it and finish the rest. So it should be pretty easy to finish the rest once it's hung. But I'm gonna basically finish coat it while it's on. That way I know exactly what I'm seeing and it'll be a nice finish coat. So that's it. They turned out really nice. I made one door on each side, as you can see. And I put European hinges in there. So you can see those that are in there right now, right? So did that. Obviously we painted them, we primed them, we put a couple coats on. I'll probably even do one more smooth coat on the front here, just to give it a little bit more of a smooth finish. So I'll give a light sand, I'll probably get one more coat at least on the doors. Check us out in the other videos, check us out on the countertop video, check us out on the videos for building the top, doing the tile work, light, I don't know, we'll see. But we'll see you next time. Give us a thumbs up and we'll subscribe to our videos, please. And we'll see you next time. Thanks, bye.